So after last week's incredible episode of Fate Grand Order, I was curious to see what the cleanup would be and where our characters would go after near defeat and utter annihilation. And I wasn't expecting the twists and turns that this episode took, but I have to say, what other direction could they have gone down except buying off Ishtar? The one person who is just so bound and bent on money and just honestly, greed. That's what she wants. She is greedy and we love her for that. I mean, she basically has been robbing people and kind of justifying it as basically donations because she's a goddess and she has been protecting their lands from demonic beasts and things like that. But I am so happy after the intensity, the ferocity of last battle to go into an episode like this and have it be so damn amusing and so comedic with its direction. I mean, when it was basically brought up that we're gonna bring Ishtar over to our side, I was like, okay, that actually makes sense. She's been the least hostile that we've seen up to this point. Yeah, she's attacked us, but I also feels like she has that Rin personality where she's a bit of a tsundere and there's obviously a chance that she would work with you. But to see the direction that Gilgamesh went to, because this guy, even though he's the nicest version, the most natural, and you'd honestly want to have a tea party with this Gilgamesh. Other Gilgamesh, you'd probably cut your head off at the tea party, so you probably would want to stay away. Even though he is such a nice guy and a great king, just king, understands that, yes, lives will be lost, but we also have to honor the dead, he still understands that he can be a little bit of a guy who knows how to manipulate things to his advantage, and the idea of giving so much treasure to Ishtar so that Fujimaru would be able to buy her off is fantastic. Direction that they took with this scene, I have to imagine they took liberties to extend it and make it funnier. Granted, I never played this part of the game, so I don't know how they kind of directed this, or maybe some of it was anime original, but the direction they took as they started off making it feel like an actual battle, and it was actually a pretty decent animated battle. I was like, okay, they're actually giving some decent camera work here, some effects, things like that, and then Fujimaru does something. I was like, oh, does he have like a spell or something? Because it was glistening in the air, and the guy threw jewels. That was amazing. And just the amount of times they were cutting away and changing up the art style, just seeing her eyes flicker, realizing, oh my god, there's no more people who are giving me goods because I've robbed them, but this is a treasure trove. And I love how this episode was just this whole, they were kind of being a tsundere themselves of how they start off at 20% and then they raise it to 25%. And when it looks like she's not willing to budge, they're like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to keep it all for ourselves. This is Fate Grand Order. Last episode, we almost just lost how many characters? We lost 2 characters. We ended up with an episode that doesn't feel jarring after the intensity of having one character die and another probably being turned into something worse than a monster. Who knows what's gonna happen to her? So to just see how they naturally transitioned, and maybe if this was a double-length episode like combined this week and last week, maybe it would feel jarring, but having a week break to decompress and kind of let our adrenaline calm down, seeing what they were able to pull off with this buying a goddess and how she doesn't have a golden rule, it's like, what other direction could they have gone? Especially seen by her hunger for just riches and things like that. It's like, thank God Ishtar's on our side, just because we know we can have more scenes with just comedic relief like that. But also, you can have the little bit of the tsundere act, because you definitely got a lot of moments that reminded me of past Fate anime where you got a little bit of a hard to get, like, oh, did you kind of get me on board because it was love at first sight? And Fujimaru's like, oh, love at first sight? No, we were just going to get killed. She's like, oh, I was just joking. But of course, there's some underlining meanings, as there always is with a Rin look-alike. But I love that. I love how just her character fits so naturally with this cast, and it feels much more natural to have her on the team rather than trying to kill the team. Because even when she was trying to kill them, she still was looking after them a good amount of time. So it's nice to have her naturally assume a position in this team and actually give them a fighting chance. Having a goddess on their side is definitely going to turn the tides of the war, or at least give them a fighting chance. And to actually see them go into the details of who Ishtar is, I thought was a nice touch, and it was a natural point to bring up how she exactly is who she is, because she's a pseudo-servant. So what's going on? What happened to the person whose body you're using? And I thought it was interesting the direction she took in explaining it, how she didn't possess a girl, she didn't kill a girl. It's almost as if just one day that girl became Ishtar. Like, they're one of the same, and like there's a 70-30 split, but at the same time there is no real difference. And it's such a mix and match way to say, I wasn't doing anything wrong, and it kind of gives peace of mind to someone who is very cautious about what could be happening and if she's doing something very unethical. Like, those are the little moments that I like, where they're not like dropping info dumps on you in an unnatural way. They're actually giving you the info you need to see about a character at the appropriate moment. We didn't need that info when we first got introduced to Ishtar, but having her join the crew and having someone on the other side of the portal basically asking the questions, it actually feels like natural info dump without making it feel like info dump. And just to see the overall episode and just how much of a reliever it was. After everything that we've had, the high intensity and the insanity that we've experienced, it's nice to see what they were able to do in this episode. Really give it the time to slow things down, but give a lot of charming moments, comedic moments, and a little bit, not too much, but a little bit of action just to say, you know what, we didn't use up all of our assets just yet, we still are going to keep the ball moving. And I like that. I like how they're really setting up so much for the future, because we're not even halfway down this story yet, and you can tell that the story is just beginning, and if last week was just the beginning, imagine what the final fight is going to look like in this anime, and the confrontations and the character struggles. Now, they do bring up something which I do not want people to spoil this. Primarily, I'm pretty sure of what I'm about to say, but don't know her identity. I've been speculating it, or actually haven't even really been speculating. I had no idea who Anna was. She had a secret. At this point, I'm pretty damn sure she's Medusa, just based on the fact that they were bringing up the youngest Medusa and then they're highlighting her in the frame. Now, there's always a chance that that's a red herring. Please don't spoil it for people in the comment section. I'm pretty damn confident in my opinion, but this is just based on the information given, and people love to spoil it for others, and I don't appreciate that, so please do avoid that. But just with what they were explaining about the Gorgons and just all the information, it just really feels like they're hinting at that being a secret, and if that is the case, they're gonna go down. No matter what, Anna has some secret that's probably gonna, the cat's gonna be out of the bag sooner rather than later. I doubt we're gonna leave Fate Grand Order and not know her true intentions or identity or something like that. So I thought it was a sneaky way to, give us that information. I feel like if it is true that she is Medusa, it's a very obvious indication, but at the same time, it's not bad because they kind of shifted away and gave other people the spotlight and focus. So it could easily be overlooked or overshadowed, and then when they eventually do reveal whatever the hell she was hiding, because, she did have that conversation with Merlin, who was saying, hey, just don't reveal it because it's going to do no good. Literally, you're working with Fujimaru, as long as you're not trying to kill him, he's probably just going to say it's okay, so why reveal whatever it is your secret, right? So it's going to be interesting to see that angle with her character, but most importantly, now that we have Ishtar on their side, like, what's going to happen? Because we've had Gilgamesh and Ishtar interact a little bit so far, but I hope we get to see some good interactions now. Now that there isn't a threat of, like, they're going to try to kill each other, that they're actually going to have to reluctantly work together, I think we're going to have some fun banter. I mean, we're going to obviously have fun banter across all the characters. Just look at how she bounced off of all these characters in this episode. It was glorious, and I love the teasing, I love the little bit of mockery. It feels like a group of dysfunctional friends who all sort of have insane abilities or magical powers. It's kind of like, it's a weird group of friends that are going on little road trips that can be the fate of the world depending on who encounters them along the way. It's just like the balance of humor, serious, and more slice of life has never been better for Fate, I honestly think. And it's just like, I have no idea where they want to go, because after last week's episode, I thought it'd be slow things down, piece it back together, and it technically was that. But at the same time, no one, unless you've experienced the source material, would be able to predict that we would get a Buying of a Goddess episode and have it be so damn funny and charming and a little romantic with its undertones, and having characters like Anna just being eyes rolling at insanity, the stupidity that she is witnessing as everyone else is playing it up as if she's this pet and they're buying their puppy at a store. But at the same time, after seeing this and what we just saw with last week, where could it go from here? It could go insane, it could go more silly like we got with this episode, and it would all work, honestly. Like, that's kind of the brilliance of Grand Order, is that they have so much room to do so many different styles of Fate and honestly have it feel elegant and not feel jarring in the slightest, or at least that's how I'm feeling. And if you've gotten this far into Fate Grand Order, I doubt many people are going to be disagreeing with that statement, because that's kind of what this series has been. It's been insane action, insane character moments, and a lot of funny banter, and it kind of feels so natural, especially in this Babylonian world, which is run by the best Gilgamesh that anime has ever seen, and probably is the best version of Gilgamesh, which I never thought I'd hear myself saying. I know I love the asshole version of Gil, but you know what? This new King version is even better, and I love him just because he still has that spunk and personality, but he's such a great ruler, And you don't feel bad saying, I'm going to follow you not because I'm afraid you're going to kill me, but rather I just think you're an actual good king, which I never would have said before until this anime. But yeah, this was a great episode. Honestly, like, how do you live up to last week? Instead of trying to live up to what we saw with Spectacle, give us a completely different style. And I think that was the proper route to go, and we even got a new character joining the crew who tried to make you kiss her feet to make a contract. Of course she did. What did everyone think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a like, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you have been new. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.